So here's my second inverter. Let's just go through the settings and see how it works. Just got this battery yesterday. Let's check what the state of charge is. %49. Okay. Inverter is now on. As you can see, there's no load, no AC input or solar input, just communications and the battery connection. I figured someone out there might want to see all the settings. I know I was looking for the settings when I was looking for this inverter, so let's just go through all the settings. So obviously the first is 0. Let me start going up. So setting 1, I believe this is the AC output priority. Looks like SBU is solar power, then battery at first. Then let's see if we change the settings. We have utility. We have solar for the loads. SBU, I guess, what is that? Solar and battery power at first priority. And then utility will only provide power when the battery voltage is below a certain percent. So we're going to go with utility because where this inverter is going, I'm not going to install any panels. I'm only going to use the battery for backup. So we'll set that. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 is the output frequency. Since this is going to Nigeria, I'm going to change this to 50, I'm sorry. We'll go to number 3. UPS for the AC input voltage range. And I'm also looking at the parameters here. So I think number 3 is fine as UPS. 4, the voltage point of battery switch to utility. So the default is 43.6, so I'm going to set this back at the default. And let's go to number 5. Voltage point of utility switch to battery. I'm going to set it back to the default until I learn more about what that does. 56.8. Let's go to number 6, the battery charging mode. OSO, only solar charging the battery. So since we don't have any solar, we're going to go to, let's see, we're going to go to CUB since there's only going to be utility charging here. Let's go to number 7, the battery charging current. Looks like 100 amps, so we'll take this back down to 60, which is the default. Then we can increase it from there. Battery type for number 8, L16, which is what is recommended for the SunGold batteries. Go to number 9, bulk battery charging voltage. Again, until I know what that means, I will have everything on the defaults. Number 10, bulk battery charging delay time. Set the default. So we'll take that. 11. Battery float charging voltage. Sorry about the paper, it came out wrong when I printed it. 55.2. Number 12. $42 is the default. $13 shows 5 as the default. $14 battery under voltage alarm. So let's take this down to the default. Oops. Default is 44. $15. Default is 40. $16. Oh, I went from 15 to 22, so skip 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 22 is power saving mode. Set disable, okay. 23 is the overload restart. Enable is fine. 24 is over temperature restart. That's enable is fine. 25 is the buzzer alarm. Guess that's fine. 26 power source switching reminder. Enable is fine. 27 inverter overload switch to bypass. I guess that's fine. 28 is the max utility charging current. 60 is the default, so we're going to keep it there. 30, the RS485 address. Number 1 is good because this is a single inverter. If we had 2, we would change that. 31. There is no 31 on this manual, so I guess I'll skip it. 32. RS485 communication. SLA is the default, but we are going to be using 485. 33. BMS communication. These batteries use Pylon Tech, PYL, so that's what we're going to set. And looks like that's already done. 34. Feedback and hybrid output function. That is disabled, so we don't want any feedback to the grid. As this is Africa, I have no idea how that would work there, but let's just keep it disabled before we blow something up. 35. Battery under voltage recover point. 52.8. Let's set it back to the default of 52. Battery full recharge voltage point. We'll set that also back to the default until we learn more about what that means. So AC output voltage. 120. Once we get back to Nigeria, we're going to change that because SunGold asked us to change that for the 240 single phase input. So we'll change that later. Then 39 is not on this paper. So we're going to go to number 40. And these are for time-based charging, so we're not going to do that. We're going to go all the way down to 46, which is the time slot charging function, which is going to be disabled. And then also from 47 through 53 looks like time-related charging. We're going to skip through all that. And number 53 is time slot discharging function. We're also going to disable that. We're not going to be making use of that. 54, 55 is where you set the time and date. I'm not really worried about that. '57, stop charging current. Charging stops when the current is less than the set value, amps. So it says 3 amps here. The default looks to be 2. So we're going to change that down to 2. So we're going to go to 58. It's the discharging alarm state of charge. Let's see what that is. Set to 15, which is default. We're good with that. 59. The discharging cutoff state of charge. So we're going to set that down to 5 as well. Charging cutoff SOC state of charge. So stops charging at, I don't know why that's 95%, but we stopped charging at 100%. '61, switching to utility state of charge. It's 10%, which is fine. Switching to inverter state of charge. Let's see. Should be 100 as the default. So let's go down there. NPE, bonding automatic switching function. What is that? Neutral bonding. Let's see what that is set to. That's set to disable, which is fine. The AC output phase mode. 180 is for split phase, so we'll change this to 0 for single phase. Oh, you can't change this unless your inverter is in standby. So change this to 0. That's it. Yeah, this completes all the settings. So let's go back here. As you can see, the battery is feeding the load, although there are no loads. Let's go through the battery. Let's go to the analog info. Check the temperatures. Let's go to cell voltage. Let's go to BMS status. I don't know what that failure means. Let's go to the current protocol. Pylon tech. That's good. pylon. Okay. Looks like that's all. So we're going to prepare this inverter for shipping, get it back out there, and then we'll get it installed once it's in Nigeria. Thanks for watching.